Okay, I just realized that there's a reason people are popping in and popping back out. So help us out, guys. Tell us if our volume is the same because it was turned way, way down. So let me know if you guys can hear us equally. Say hi, John.
Testing 1 2 to the chat. Hello, Darla.
So we're probably gonna have some, and Patricia's here, Whitey's here, Brenda's here.
Patricia, Heidi. Who else?
Whitey.
Whitey Bulger's back?
Yeah, Whitey Bulger again. Lisa,
Holy cow.
Effie Maori. I don't know how to say that correctly.
Effie, my New
Yep.
Zealand Anna in the house.
So yeah, I know there was no sound in the beginning, but it's all the process, guys. The thing is we try to get together early to make sure everything's working, and I guarantee you that we go through so much stuff that we forget the simple things sometimes. But and I didn't set the delay, so they're delayed. So anyway, we are going to be talking about a subject that is not. See, here's the funny thing about this subject. It's normally fine for YouTube or other people to talk about this subject, but it's not okay for us to talk about this subject. And so we're going to try to avoid certain words and terms and hope that the thing doesn't just get shut down in the middle. If there's buffering, that's fine.
Maybe we should use code words like Michelle does on Deception Bites for maybe we'll call these black rags instead of blank blanks.
Yeah. Yeah, what's interesting is the letter F is the number 6, the 6th letter of the alphabet, and this new what do you call it?
Double six?
No, the new thing for the global warming is or something Friday. It's 3 Fs basically with this Greta Thunberg thing. The global warming stuff, it's 3 Fs, and I'm like, isn't that funny? It's 666. But yeah, expect buffering. I'm just asking you guys to bear with us. Try to stick through it because there's a reason it's probably buffering and that we might even get shut down. So we're going to do our best. Real quick, I have this raffle with 2 spots left. If you have $16, you can have them both, and we can get this awesome 2-ounce coin raffled off. If you have $8 and there's 2 of you, get it raffled off and be gone. So
if you get me in there, what's my tab at?
You got 1 spot. So your tab's at $8.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no sound at first, so we're back. We're good now though. So the people that were all leaving, I love how people don't give it a second. They're like, they pop in, they're like, I spent 5 seconds waiting for sound and there wasn't any, so they leave. Okay, bye. So,
It's cool
John,
in the gang.
We're going to talk about a few things. What we're going to try to avoid is the stuff a lot of you probably already know, and I'm glad you're home, Lisa. The stuff you probably already know is what an FF is, what it usually is for, and that sometimes people are physically harmed and sometimes they are not. It is my belief that in this particular place on the East Coast, where there was some kindergartners, there was not anyone hurt. What do you think, John?
Well, I think that black flags are admittedly conducted all the time. I think we may not touch on a former Obama administration member, Naomi Wolf. There's that name Wolf again. I think we see Wolf a lot in that guy who wrote a thing on Trump on CNN, some kind of book, somebody Wolf. But we see these names a lot, and words matter. And I'm going to stay away from saying the name of the town, but let's just say it was brand new. And there's 53 admitted, black flags. And this is on the internet. And if you want, that's too many to go through. But the first switch of being the Japanese troops set off a small explosion on a train track in 1931, falsely blamed it on China in order to justify an invasion of Manchuria. This is known as the Mukden Incident or the Manchurian Incident. The Tokyo International Military Tribunal found participators in the plan, including Hashimoto, a high-ranking Japanese army official, on various occasions admitted their part in the plot, and it goes on to about 52 more admitted ones. I don't know, that's just a way to kind of jump into these things are real, it's a thing, and to say it's not going on today, admittedly the Obama administration says it's legal. Events are legal, and
So that's
putting
what
it out there.
that's something we're gonna get to later. I did not find that in that same clip, but we'll figure it. We'll either find it or we'll find it later. I think the people that come here know enough about us to know that we don't just say stuff without ever having actually seen it or ourselves. So there's this. I'm gonna tell you guys that the picture that you see up right now, I want you to please. You don't have to do it right now unless you've got a computer and a tablet or you're able to do two things at once on your phone and still listen. Watch this. Watch this. What would you call it? A PSA, because it is so disturbing that I couldn't believe what I had just watched.
Yeah, when you sent me that link, I about flipped my lid because so much of a hubbub was made about Mr. Alex Jones, even touch subject, and I don't know what the deal is there with you or what. I don't watch Alex a lot, and then I spoke to you about the whole Megyn Kelly thing, and now they've got this thing out, this commercial, and if anybody's seen it, it's the sickest thing I've seen in a long time, if not the sickest.
Fear mongering at its best. King Xenomorph says, hello, sort of. He says, hang up.
Xenomorpheus!
He says,
what's up, buddy?
Hang up, boy. Welcome, Brett Bonnell. So I'm kind of just playing this. I've got the closed captioning on, and it starts off like a commercial, and not what it is at all. Not going to play
Very
the
well
sound.
done. Looks like they spent a lot of money.
Well, here's the thing: is it's had 3.5 million views on YouTube, and from my understanding, I can't say that I did it myself. If you see, there's people falling in the background. The kid's running from something. It's had 3.5 million views on here, and from what I've heard, it was on TV, cable TV. There's a girl, great jacket, ties up the doors. This guy's got a nice skateboard to break windows out. If you can't guess what is going on by the name in the title, this is a commercial that was made. I mean, it just is sick. It gets me emotional too because they're using children. They're using children.
Yeah, right.
Put the fear into probably other children. Oh yeah, these socks really came in handy. They're a real lifesaver. I mean, and this is the worst part, is the little girl in the bathroom. Because I have no sound, you're not going to know exactly how awful this part is. Because I'm sorry, it would stir up anybody's emotions. It certainly stirred up mine, but I knew it stirred up my emotions because I also felt scared. Like, I had that feeling, but I was like, that's what made me so mad. And don't forget, there's something called righteous anger.
Well, it's a visceral thing.
It's something called, well, yeah, it is. And that's why they did it. And there's something called righteous anger where Jesus had it in the temple when he turned the tables over. And so what happens here is she gets really quiet because she hears a door open and somebody walking in. And then they just make you sit here like that for a minute. And it's back to that time. And you know what that means. Apparently this is what that means. Oh, good Lord. Anyway,
Jesus.
I don't have any ideas of what to do about it. Here's what I want. I want the truth to be known, not because we're going to all rise up in anger and throw fits and be crazy, but to protect ourselves and our own children and to help as much as we can with what we're doing tonight. John and I prayed about this, guys, because this was going to, I was said, we have to talk about this tonight. Didn't I, John?
Yeah.
And he watched
the thing,
it.
Aaron,
Yeah, go ahead.
the thing that got me the most was the part when the little girl actually went into, they call it method act. You know, any good actor knows about acting. And she's literally crying, texting her mother as if it was, her last moment on earth. Now think about a kid watching.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, let's take it one step. Let's just, like I said earlier, let's play devil's advocate, and poor children perish. What if their moms watch this? What if their grandmas watch this? What if their I don't know, their little brother sees something like this, and here's a recreation, PTSD moment, if you will, that Alex Jones was removed from the internet for speaking about, but yet it's okay for the left mainstream media to shock 3 million other kids and families.
Yes, so not only has this had 3.5 million views, and it was probably, I think it was aired on primetime TV or whatever, but the comments are disabled, and so are the likes and dislikes. You know, I was ready to comment this. Oh, I was going to comment a storm. I was going to comment a
Yeah.
storm, and oh no, you can't. This gets to go up and not only be allowed, but it's probably being promoted by YouTube, because look at poor Greta Thunberg. Now, everybody who's mad at her, I get it. But from what I understand, that poor girl has been terrified by her parents, terrified for years about global warming, to the point that she went through a situation where she went mute because of her depression over the world ending. A child, you guys, with autism.
I want to read. Yeah, this kid. I just got into this Greta thing, and that's borderline exploitation of a child. What they're doing.
It's not
They're
even
trying to
borderline.
indoctrinate the youth. They're trying to get kids. She's a well-spoken British, or I don't know if she's British, but you know, Americans kind of gravitate towards that accent. They know what they're doing. The only thing missing at the end of this little PSA or whatever it's called is David Hogg and a couple other socialist kids saying, "Hey, guns."
Yeah, they're getting a little too old, I think, even for, it doesn't touch the people anymore, and they've been around too much. And even, I think even some of the moderate and left people, I'm talking about Americans, not politicians, are probably getting tired of their faces too. And so in our research, we weren't going to talk too much about some of the, hang on. Shush, please, please. Oh, Lord above. Anyway, even in, we were trying to just look at, we weren't going to talk about many of the specific incidences, because you guys know what they are. And I'm not going to say whether I think people died or didn't. I think sometimes they did, and a lot of times they didn't. But the point is that we can't find anything anymore. There's stuff I could find a few months ago that I can't find, and I'm looking on DuckDuckGo. I'm not even looking on Google. What about you, John?
Well, it's interesting. The link I sent you from one of my go-to girls in the QAnon movement, Michelle. Shouts out to Michelle at Deception Bites. My trifecta is Bernie at Truth and Arts, Michelle and Space Shot. I like Katie G too, but Michelle especially, because she's an honest woman. And I think the link was deception is now legal. And it was what I touched on earlier with the Obama spokeswoman at that 8-minute mark, I think it was, 8:10, something like that, when Naomi Wolf says, hey guys, events are legal now. And we've been, all countries do this. We do it. It's okay. It's a thing. And events happen, and just the general public's not aware of it. And then even the whole thing, if you know anything about psychology and you look how this woman's speaking, the questions are loaded. It's a whole, that in itself is a John Wick setup, right? I mean, the whole press conference, it's like, we got to say this legally. It's a bunch of lawyers probably told these people, hey, we got to get this out. And then I think Michelle goes on to lay out a ton of graphics. She's always hits, dots every I and crosses every T about the level of black flags that started popping off by the time this law was enacted. And, we don't want to use specific event names, but we all know what we're talking about. We're talking about, remember that softball game. We're talking about the schools. We're talking about restaurants. We're talking about this agenda that the mainstream media is all too happy to. Yeah, and they're all too happy. But you go digging for this article that says, hey guys, these black flags are legal, but they'll report on all the black flags in triplicate.
So I'm going to play this for a second where she says this. So I'm going to mute my end because my kids are being terrible. And then I'm going to play this real quick.
All right.
Hang on here. That's not very loud. I want to make sure that. Hang on here. I'm hoping the first part of this, because I had my my speakers turned down. I'm hoping that that's not going to affect the sound. I'm hoping not anyway. All right, and let me make sure this is on full blast so you can hear this. Okay, here we go.
Pressure cooker and two teenagers, you know, and then they took over the whole city, shut it down, and to me that looked a whole lot like martial law.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't believe it. See, this is why I didn't want to give this talk, because I knew that we had this conversation, and now it's on the record. All right, let me take a step back. No, we have to deal with it. Let me take a step back and a deep breath, because this is a very painful thing to talk about. So, all over the world, we know, it's well established, the State Department and intelligence agencies engage in theater, and it's what they do, it's spycraft, to create spectacles and events that people may not realize are spectacles and events, but that, well, like the overthrow of Mossadegh in the 50s in Iran. They'll funnel money to protesters, they'll, fly people in to infiltrate protesters, they'll create fake newspapers, and so on. So we know that this happens in countries around the world. I believe that a law has been passed in the United States. I think it's part of the Defense Authorization Act. I need to confirm this. That, pardon me, now makes it legal to propagandize American citizens. Do we know about that? Yeah, it's true. And is it in the NDAA or is it in something else? Do we know? It's a separate bill, and it's been passed. It's now law. Do we know it? 2 years ago.
Oh. It's a law? Oh, it was passed? Oh, that was 2 years ago? Oops. I mean...
Right. Can you get back to me on the name on that? Like, she don't know,
Yeah.
Like,
was that? Oh,
yeah,
it was
well,
passed?
send me the
okay.
link, she says.
Yeah, because email me. I'll get to that tomorrow. I'll email you back, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal or anything.
And she's wearing red.
Setting,
Black Eagle points out she's wearing red.
And nice cleavage and nice hair and the whole nine.
So I want to bring up something. So it's what when we were talking about this earlier, what Revel said. He says,
Lady in red.
He says, well, we need maybe some gun control. And I said, no, we don't need any gun control. And he wasn't saying that because doesn't matter. But we agreed is the gun control we're talking about is the fact that they don't want gun control, guys. And I said, look at the inner cities. They're dropping guns off in inner cities. I said, I've seen it. And John goes, oh yeah. So I haven't seen it firsthand, right? I've seen videos where they talk about it. John has seen it firsthand. And then we're going to have a couple other things we'll talk about after. But tell me your firsthand experience of guns being dropped off that you have seen.
Well, there's been quite a few. I happen to live in at one time, I think we've been surpassed by Chicago and some cities down south, but the murder capital of the world, 5 years running. Most violent crimes, most murder, a lot of home invasions, Flint, Michigan, outside Detroit. And when I was younger, I thought we had talked about this on your show, but maybe it was on my channel, just a random chat. But I remember my grandpa was a usher at St. Mary's, and he liked to go to local bars at night and things. And we would walk around the neighborhood, and I went to go, yell in the back door and say, hey, Pops, Grandma wants you to come home. And I saw a dead cat, which caught my eye. I'll never forget it. It's like it was yesterday. The cat, somebody had stoned this cat to death, and its eyes were bulging out. But that's neither here nor there. I looked to my left, and I saw a crate. And in this crate were a ton of handguns. And I was at the age to where, I knew enough to touch these. You know what I mean? Don't touch these. But there they were. And they were sitting there. And this is the late 80s, okay? This isn't even into the 90s yet. And then fast forward a few years to where, we're in Detroit and we're in different recording studios and we're talking, hip hop, this is kind of a racy lifestyle. And we run into a couple guys got some heaters for sale. And I said, where'd you get these? And they said, yeah, we found them. I said, what do you mean? These are full of, they were automatic weapons in Detroit. And they had no reason to lie to me. Guys I know my whole life. And they said, oh, they're out, behind this, wherever. There's a crate of them. And they said, well, sell them to you cheap. I said, no, man, I'm good. But is not uncommon because I sent you a link, and I can hear different guys in the hip hop world, or even just in the in the ghetto, in Cabrini Green, Chicago, out in Arizona, down south. They all got the same story. They all got the same story. That guy, we're walking down an alley or backwoods someday, and there they are. Now my question is the same as their question: are these put there? Are these a drop gone wrong, or is this a way to pop? So hey, these inner city kids are crazy. They're all super predators, and we need to jail them all. And by the way, we've got some privatized prisons where we can all make money by jailing these kids for popping up guns we left in the alley. Is all I'm saying.
Well, okay, so the videos I've seen were not this guy that, they were, what would you say, not professional. They were just amateur, somebody going up and asking people these questions. One of them was a guy like going live and saying, this is what was going on. And I'm going to play this part because this guy talks about it.
Yeah, it was called Ready Rock in the beginning.
It was a lot of different names.
Just to give you guys a real quick, this guy is talking about when they were introducing drugs, they also started introducing guns that these guys weren't getting. And I'm going to tell you, that's what these guys were saying in the amateur videos I saw. They were not seeing these kinds of guns and just having access to these kinds of guns. They were finding them, but I'm going to play this.
And so when it actually hit was like 83. And I came back home 84. And we went from being able to just, and it changed it because two things happened major. The influx of guns and a different kind of guns. And then
like the automatics.
Because we hadn't even seen automatics. We weren't even having no automatics then.
See, he says it right there. They hadn't even seen them. You there, John?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
So, I mean, they hadn't even seen these kind of guns, and now they've got the money to buy them because they're selling drugs.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to think back to the days of the 80s and when, hip-hop started blowing up, and it was a time where young black men and minorities, and a lot of white kids too, I mean, it's not a black thing, but they were being called super predators, and crack hit the street. And I mean, let's be honest, I mean, a lot of people in the hood, they use drugs, but how'd they get there? How'd the guns get there? And maybe a lot of people don't have the mental acumen, and you're a kid, and somebody says, hey man, here's a heater, and here's an ounce of whatever, and you can make some money and support your family. And I can remember back at Powers, a teacher asked me, and I kind of took the opposite stance, but I see what he meant now. He said, is selling drugs logical? We know it's morally wrong, but is it logical? And I took the negative stance, and it was, no, it's not logical. But now that I get older, I get what he meant. He meant that it makes sense for a kid down that has nothing, has no chance at a job in these times, and you're telling him you can make $1,000 a week, and to protect yourself, you're going to have to carry heat. And by the way, here's some guns laying there. Does that pop off agenda? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, well, you're not the only one. And the other thing is, like, this guy goes on to say, so this Vlad guy is asking him, he's saying, he starts talking about how he got to go out and shoot automatic weapons with an NRA, a black NRA supporter. And he's like, it's just crazy, like going out there and shooting these automatic weapons. And this guy's like, yeah, right. And he goes, but they're legal. And this guy goes, they are, huh? And he goes, well, yeah, but you got to give them your name and you got to let them know who you are. And you got to give them a bunch of information so that they can just come to your house if they want to. And like say, we want to check your house, right? So you can own them, but you got to be really open. And this guy, you could see on his face, he's like, oh yeah, that ain't me, right? And then he asks him, he says, can you own a gun? And he goes, no, I can't own one legally. This guy right here, the sunglasses. And then he goes on to say like, but he goes, I do what I need to do, like to protect my family, my own, whatever. And so he's literally saying what you just said, like he's going to do that. He's going to still have them, and having gun laws is not going to stop him from having guns. So
no. And here's the thing. I mean, I can speak from experience. I've lived a kind of life where I can look back and say I should have made a lot of different decisions. And one of those decisions is growing up, After, I was Catholic and I lived in a bad neighborhood. I mean, that's all there is to it. And you could say you're a product of your environment. It's kind of a cop out. But the fact is, Aaron, you get gun put in your face all the time, and then sooner or later, if somebody makes you angry enough, you're going to pick up a gun, and some family, crime is crime. And, if you make a bad decision. In my case, I was looking at, I was that dude standing in front of a judge, 7 counts of attempted murder because it's kind of a gang situation, drive-by shootings. And, I'm thinking to myself the whole time, how did I let my anger get the best of me? And it's music. And luckily I got out of it. Luckily no one was. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, my phone. I did, I was locked up for a year or two, but my point is, kids are gonna get guns. Here, the cold hard fact is it's easy. I could go get a gun right now. I mean, I could, it's probably like that in a lot of inner city. And if you don't have an older guy or like a deputy or a good cop or a priest or someone to talk to these kids and their anger when they're just protect their mom or they're just trying to protect their sister and say, hey man, because here's the thing, Aaron, the one thing that changed my life the most one day, and I'm worried about my little year bit that I'm doing, right? And this 18, 19-year-old kid sits next to me, and he's got that blank look on his face. I'm like, man, I'm down for a year, bro. And he looks at me and he says, I got life. He said, what'd you get life for? And he says, man, I don't know, bro. He said, I had this gun and I went into to shoot him. It just went off, man. It just went off. And I looked in this kid's eyes and he's done. He's never getting out. He's going away for life for one mistake. Somebody handed this kid a gun and said, hey, go up to the corner store and get us some money. And, impressionable kid probably would take it back. And I could tell on his face that he didn't want, I don't know, who am I to say, but he genuinely seemed like he didn't want to shoot that man. And he's done. His mom is missing his son forever. He's not coming home.
And that's what they want. It's like that video I did just the other night where I said, let's review the Boule. And I said, I'm encouraging people to please start talking about this as much as possible. Like, I'm not telling you to go do something stupid, have discernment and wisdom, but talk about it or ask the right-wing black people, why aren't they talking about it? When are they going to talk about it? Or do they not know about it? And if that's the case, let's inform them. Go on.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I was going to say there's a thing in the hood where it's kind of a street, and I subscribed to it for a long time until I got older and knew that it was wrong. And you just don't talk to the police. You just don't talk. Everybody keeps their mouth shut, and they say snitches get stitches, and you call people a narc. But it takes a real man to stand up and go, hey, that's the guy that did it. That's the guy that killed that woman, or that's the guy that stole from that old person, or that's, and you don't want to be known like that in the neighborhood. So it takes courage. It takes courage, but I think that's where a lot of them, I don't know if they even want to call it a black community. It's just the hood community. It's, there's just as many white gangsters, or Mexican or whatever. It's just a way of thinking in the hood. You know what I mean? And it's just a hush hush thing.
I really understand that because I listen to No Malice a lot, and he even says that, like, he's exposed some things, but not people. Like, he doesn't come out talking names. He doesn't point fingers at anyone.
Well, you could get killed.
Of course. But again, if you're going to come to the cross, what hill will you die on and what won't you, right? So we're going to die on that hill. Which hill are we going to die on? And you look at like Gary Webb here, who back in the day was exposing the crack epidemic very vehemently. I mean, he was getting heard, and he ended up with 2 in the head. And it's not a suicide, even though that's probably what the narrative says. But this man was really uncovering stuff, and so there's people who are like, I'm not willing to die on that hill, but I'm going to tell you right now, I am willing to die on this hill because nobody is talking about the Boule. And this is these are the controllers over the black people. And if we don't even know they exist, how do you fight why fight the battle at all? Just sit down, go back into your houses, hunker down or bunker down, whatever you got, and just ignore it and flip channels on the television like you always did, and don't come on here. But we're coming on here because this is important to us, and we understand that, and we pray protection. It's not like we want this. We're not out here doing stupid things with no discernment. We pray about this. I pray about this. You pray about this. We pray together about it. Who's going to do anything if we don't even know what we're up against? And we don't know everything that we're up against. And what can we do? But the thing is be aware, be prepared, not afraid.
Right. And you brought up the Boule and these secret societies. Now, those are a little bit harder, obviously, to combat, because they work from within and they're a psyop, and they have been from the beginning. But here's my thing. What about the things right out in the open that people can him and haw about, like MS-13 and these sanctuary cities that these Democrats want to bring in and say, hey, let these guys come over here. Let MS lay up in your neighborhood. As a matter of fact, why don't you rent them a room? And then it's to build a wall to keep these kinds of people out, these outward gangsters, bringing drugs, bringing sex trafficking, and these, you got your Joe Bidens and your Cory Bookers and all these people and your Elizabeth Warren screaming for sanctuary cities to help these criminals. And you got a wall because it's so bad and kids are missing and drugs are killing us. All these people can do is scream and it's just panic in DC. This is my Trump moment. Really, I sound a little angry, but we're out and kids that are missing, and these here with these guns like we're talking about, and these demon rats are worried about safe spaces and paper. I mean, the choice is clear, people.
Yep. And okay, so I was talking to Space Shot, who has I'm so grateful he gets in touch with me, and he says he knows somebody that he's been passing on my Boule stuff to. I have a few other people that watch it that understand it, and it's only the white people that call me racist when I talk about that stuff. I have a few black people, for whatever reason, they're on Instagram only, that are like, yep, that's right. But it's so few people are talking about it. So I'm not telling everybody to go out and talk about something they don't know, because it's really hard to research. There just is not much information on it, right? But I have some stuff. You can find Prince Ray. He's on YouTube. He doesn't have anything new, and then come with an open mind, guys, because some of these guys don't trust Trump, and that's okay, because they don't know who to trust. You need to just say, I want to just pray for the truth, and if I think they're wrong about Trump, now I've done that. I've said, yeah, they could be right about Trump, but I've seen some things that don't go along with that now. And some of these videos are older, so we're talking like a time where, they weren't sure yet. He was just getting voted in. They didn't know what to think. They probably didn't have enough information on him themselves. And that's fine, whatever they think about Trump, because they've got a lot of good other information. But like Prince Ray, go ahead.
I'm just saying, there's a couple avenues you just sparked off there. It's like everybody figures things out in their old time. I was a young man once who didn't have anything to do with politics. Clinton, I didn't trust Bush, and I just didn't know why. I was pretty much anti-government. And I get calls of people like from camp and places telling me on thoughts on Trump. And I'm like, hey, man, you don't live here. You stream media news. If you knew what it was like Obama years opposed to what Trump has already done in a few short years, and you got kids, the choice is so evident. The choice is so obvious. And even more than that, what you kind of sparked with the scrubbing of the information and things you can't find on the internet. What it should have been the single most biggest story in U.S. history, and back to Michelle at Deception Bites, I'm sure Space Shot covered it. Obama admitted that we had a sitting president that was born in, okay, and he said, hey, well, it just goes to show you that you shouldn't trust everybody, and congressmen and, you know, Democrats, and they all chuckle and have a laugh that they pulled one over on us. And Trump was right. Sheriff Joe Arpaio, what was his name? Sheriff Joe Arpaio? Arpaio in Phoenix was right all this time. And why didn't we see that on Fox News? Why didn't we see that on CNN? Why didn't Don Lemon shout that from the rafters instead of his silly self saying impeachment and racist every 5 minutes? How about that we had a first president that wasn't? How about that, Don Lemon?
Right. So anyway, just to say though, I'm reminding you guys that not all people are going to trust Trump, but they do have other good information. They're not necessarily talking trash. They're only showing connections. I've watched them. I've watched these videos from some of these guys, and they're showing connections. They're not saying, oh, well, obviously you can't trust this guy. They're not even saying that. All they do is show connections, literally. But you got to understand, they have their concerns just as I have spoken mine. So another guy, if you don't want to hear anything about Trump, Steve Coakley, he died like in the late 90s or something. So you're going back in time, but he talks the same stuff about the boule. That guy has a plethora. That guy's a wealth of information on the boule and the black controllers. And you can find the basic information. All you need to know is that it's the black skull and bones, and that they wanted to have their own because the regular white Masons wouldn't let them in. So they got to have, I mean, talk about, what do you call that syndrome? Stockholm. Talk about Stockholm syndrome and make them Greeks.
Loving your abuser.
Making them Greeks. Anyway, I bring it up because this is stuff that we're looking at with these things where these guys are talking about guns being dropped off and who are in these cities, who's running these cities. You know?
Well, let's take it one step farther with that boule and look at who excels. I mean, there's talented people everywhere. I'm not taking like Jay-Z's talent away because I love Jay-Z's music, but let's call a spade a spade. The guy's a demon. Pr0mise, co-conspirator. Beyonce. I don't know what happened to Beyonce. Look at Cardi B. These is bloody shoes. Them's red shoes. These is bloody. You know, it's all this pyramid, all-seeing eye. We've all seen it. They run the black hip-hop world, and there's only one, Kanye West, the only one with the courage to stand up and say, no, I'm with Trump. And you hear T.I. and all these people going off on Candace Owens because this is all organized. The boule, the Masons. I mean, I'm not a Mason hater. I know there's different sects, but for the most part, what we see now are the controller. And they control the mainstream media. These billions and billions of dollars are all connected to Mueller, or so I hear. I don't know. He's playing them. I don't know. But all I know is you top of all.
Well, and the other thing that you see, so I mentioned this on the last live one I did, but I'll mention it again and again and again and again and again. This black community has been treated like animals for a long, long time. And even now, today, there's been surveys that say, are blacks related to monkeys? Are all people? And more people on a private survey will say, oh, black people probably are more related to monkeys than my white lineage. And so, and then you've got Jay-Z creating this J-Bo character that is none other than an animal, monkey-looking thing from the old times when they just did this. I mean, come on, Jay-Z.
Why is it okay for Hillary Clinton to say, oh, well, they all look alike?
Yeah, exactly. They all look alike. I mean, look, is it Eric Holder or is it the other one? She was comparing him to Booker or something. Yeah, Book. I mean, please. And here's the thing is she probably knew what she was doing when she did that. I think we lost him. But he was speaking of Jay-Z and Marina Abramovich. They did a video together, which was weird and creepy, and they're dancing around in a circle with their foreheads together, and people are cheering it on, and it's incredibly creepy. They've got pictures of him. Oh, I mean, what is this? Like, he's got some love for this sick woman that I can only understand as being because they're part of the system. They're part of the same system, and they go to the spirit cooking things, and they're got their picture. Oh, they're like, look at us, with her braids and her hat, and oh, America. I mean, like BS, Beyonce. But this, really weird and totally
They
cringeworthy.
shut me off.
Yeah,
They shut me off.
I hear you now. I didn't hear you for a second.
Where did I leave off?
I don't know, but because you disappeared.
I was just saying the point was, it was Democrats are the party of Jim Crow. Hillary Clinton wanted to call blacks super predators, and blacks are doing under Trump, and we haven't recorded history. So Hispanics are doing better. Asian American, and the whole, don't they all look the same? Hillary Clinton. How does that squeak by?
Well, because that and I don't have to answer that. So it's obviously it's a rhetorical question, and so then I was going to tell you that what I was telling them was talking about. So speaking of Jay-Z and Marina, I was showing them the connection that they did this creepy. Obviously, they're totally involved with each other, and they did this cringeworthy video where I'm like, why are they butting heads like idiots? And then you've got this picture of them. Well, thank you, Neil. God bless you. Neil,
look at his
just
face.
gave a super
Neil's
chat.
in here?
Neil gave a super chat, and I thank you for that.
Neo Q, what's up, homeboy? Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Neil, you can call in if you want to, or not call in, just okay, so I'd have to add you on Discord, but I can do that real quick. So hang on. I'm going to my Discord permissions.
Neo Q in the house.
Oh, okay. Oh, your name's not Neo on Discord. It's something else. What is it? Tell me what it is, and I'll add you in that.
Jay-Z's face when he's looking at Marina Abramovich, it just makes me so irritated.
Cringeworthy. It's just gross.
And then his t-shirt, do as thou wilt. I mean, like pimping that like he's the. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. Okay. Total. There it is. Which is, not surprising. And then he's come out and said he's a Luciferian. And okay. Neo said
so cocky.
Neo says I want to come on here. And I say, oh, okay, I'll add you. And he goes, no need. Okay. Fine. Next time. But this full on Luciferian. Now here's the thing though, is I'm not gonna sit here and act like Kanye West is all right. He's not. Like, the dude has sold his soul too. He talks about it. He goes back. Oh yeah, that's what it is. He goes back and forth. He's programmed one day, he's not programmed the next. I feel like maybe he's trying to escape all that. I feel like he is, but he just gets pulled back in because look who he's married to.
Well, I mean, I can't make a judgment. I listened to the lyrics of his song. There's some kind of inner struggle going there. We're talking about a Renaissance man, someone worth, millions, if not billions. And, we all saw his breakdown on stage. He was talking to Zuckerberg and Khalid, and, everybody turned on Kanye. And then you saw him come out of the hospital, and the man's trying to give up opiates. You listen to the lyrics in his song, there's an inner struggle going on there, and that's the one guy who's seen both sides. And I believe he's turned to the light with Trump. In my heart, with Jesus, forgiveness. He's got, I think what's that, St. Petersburg Basilica, or maybe something like that, painted on his ceiling. So we're talking about a spiritual man here that's wrestling with Jesus, I believe, but it's trying to lead us to the light.
I certainly think he was a Christian artist in the beginning. Here's Jay-Z, his stuff is just full of Illuminati, occult, creepy Crowley symbolism, and
no doubt.
I mean, you don't even have to. You have to wonder. This guy's obvious. It's some of the other ones that don't make it obvious, like Lauren Daigle, who is a witch. I just heard. I think Neo came in. Are you there?
Neo Q.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
10-4, buddy. 5x5.
That is awesome. This is the first time I learned it real quick.
Well, welcome for the first time.
How you feeling, brother?
No, thank you. Rev just put you on to be on, Aaron. I've watched some of your shows, and I'm really impressed, actually.
Glory to God. He guides me. I'm not kidding. That's no joke.
But we share some of the same values. I like the subject you guys are talking about tonight. I run a network Uncensored, and we're on we're at about 25. thousand, and we believe in Q, but we believe at MAGA Q, whatever. But we're one of the only groups that invites non-Q believers. We go to the worst places to try to red pill. Rev knows all about that. But most importantly, what we try to do is teach the who, what, when, where, why, how, like the description. And I believe it all started with the 16-year plan to destroy America. If you're familiar with Joe M,
Yeah,
his
of
first
course.
video,
Yes, definitely.
that's what his first video was about. There's a guy named Imperator Rex _3 on Reddit, and he wrote about it. And,
Yeah, I've seen that
made it
guy.
pretty
He's been
popular.
gone from Twitter for a long time.
Yeah, and they banned him.
Yep.
And now he's just Imperator Rex. Rex, that video at the very beginning, how the world was almost destroyed. It doesn't mention Q. It talks about the 16-year plan. The first 8 years was Obama.
Right.
And if you look
Right.
before that, it was a guy named Al-Walid bin Talal. Now,
Yep.
Al-Walid bin
Yep.
Talal,
Yep.
and you have to excuse me if I talk much, just cut me off. I'm sorry. That's just a lot to disseminate.
Don't. I'm good at redirecting if I feel like you're not getting to the point. Don't worry. Don't stress.
Okay, thank you. But Al-Walid bin Talal, like Columbia, James Hedford, I think that's his name, James Hedford. He's the top law professor at Columbia Law, and him and almost every single professor there has made a statement saying Obama never went there. Obama's father, Lulu Totoro, that's why he was called Barry Totoro, Sotoro, was in a shady business, was in a shady, some sort of Russian affiliated business. His mother was apparently, Anne Stanley Dunham, had Russian descent. And there's pictures of this guy living with Obama, like took him under his wing.
Mhm.
Obama lived in Africa, Hawaii, then Indonesia, then moved to the States when he was about 18, 19. And he was bred. He was just bred to be
CIA,
a
basically,
politician.
right?
Yeah,
Manchurian candidate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Like he says,
Brennan,
Warren,
all of them.
like
Comey,
where do you think the
Brennan,
vegetable?
Bill Ayers, it all started back then. The Weather Underground.
Yeah, this is for a long time. But it all started when the West factions, basically, there were West and Hugh at the very beginning called it a bloody wonderland. Alice and bloody
Alice in
wonderland.
Yep.
Right.
Well, a lot of people think it's Hillary, but it's not. Alice is Al-Walid bin Talal. He's their Hillary Clinton.
Ding, ding, ding,
He's
ding,
an
ding.
example. And that's the first major Q proof is the plus when he got arrested, and he's still arrested. Guys like that don't get arrested.
Right.
He owns 54% of Twitter. The guy owns 6% of Western media altogether. One of the richest men. He's more than really sitting prince. He's richer than sitting prince. He's a
Trust the
great grandson of the original king of Saudi Arabia. So guys like
Right.
that do not get arrested. He did, right? And he's still arrested. Now, that's a huge example right there with the Hillary thing. And with the 16-year plan to destroy America, because we saw that Obama did it. He weakened our patriotism, by now, our forces, our entire
Our
military
morals.
forces, yeah, would have been given to like NATO. They would have been given to concussion moment. Think about help me out. United Nations, basically.
The UN.
Yes.
I mean,
1.6
Obama gave the
trillion.
keys to the internet to the UN. It was all about to go down before Trump. People don't even get it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. People don't understand what that means either. With the keys to the internet.
Yeah, I do. I did a video on it.
I'm here. Just do it.
Uh-oh.
That's huge.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I'm sorry. Repeat yourself. There's a delay. So I'm going to finish talking. Give it like 3 seconds and then repeat yourself. Sorry. Oh, maybe he hung up. Maybe he's like, I have a delay. I'm hanging up. I don't know. He'll come back though, probably.
No.
Yeah, I'm right here.
He'll be
Sorry.
back.
Oh, there he is. Now I can't hear you though.
He's talking too much truth. That's Neo Q.
Yeah. Well, oh, anyway, I don't know if you're changing out your headphones or something because I can't hear you at all. It's like so quiet.
Don't. Well, we need to have Neo on another time. This guy's a wealth of information.
Well, I
and-
agree. I'm good with that.
I mean, me and Neo have had our ups and downs, but he's a good dude.
All right, how about now?
I can hear you, but it's so hard to hear you. And I'm echoing. But what he was saying, he's talking about what people don't know what the keys to the internet means, guys. And you all have heard it, you all have seen it, but I did a video called Who is Q? Now, this isn't all my research. I give the credit to who did a lot of this research. I spent 3 months just trying to understand the research that these people did before I could report on it. So it's not my research, but I had to understand it before I could talk about it. I'm telling you, it's not an easy thing to do. But this talks about the encryption keys and what they were doing with their back doors. Wow, thank you, Ben. Thank you. God bless you.
Benny Ben. Benny
Woo.
Ben.
He says, as much as it's good to research this topic to know what they're doing and identify them, we can take comfort in knowing that they have their reward here, but we get ours after this, and it'll be many, many times greater. God bless. That is exactly right. But exactly right. No, but all true. What I said in this video is I went through all the way back to 1993. I know it goes back further. I know NQTEL is involved. I couldn't make a 100-minute video, but all this stuff, the cryptography has been going back since 1993 and probably earlier, but that's how far back I went. And I went through these things. Even now, guys, I don't remember it. I'd have to watch it again to go, wow, that's so much information. But here they talk about what encryption keys are. There's a visual here talks about the encryption key and the decryption key when you send stuff over the internet. And they had access to decrypt anything while it was in encryption mode and take it and know what it was out of your phone, out of your computer, out of your tablet, out of anything that you were sending anything over. Hillary Clinton had access to all of it. And she sold it to China.
And think about all the videos we saw about Walmarts and these camps and these coffins and these things and these tanks on the railway. No one knew why all these MRAPs and things are being sent, and cops even going, and General Flynn saying, we're not going to be the Air Force for Al Qaeda. All of these things come to a head, and I think the writing's on the wall. Where we go one, we go all. That's what Q's all about. And I'm so happy Neo was here.
I think he's still here. I think he's trying to talk.
Do you know when it started? There's an actual point. There's a timeline. There's an actual point where you can tell when it all started.
When's that?
1990.
1990.
1990. It was after the second midterm. George Bush Sr. He made a I don't know what to call it. It was an executive order.
The Patriot Act or Senior?
Yes, Senior. It was a reparations in somewhere. Have you noticed between 1990 and 2018, Republicans have never questioned elections. They've never tried to check for, and they know there's been fraud. Come on, Broward County alone.
Well, it's because there were two birds, wings of the same bird at that point.
He made an executive order, a reparation to Democrats to please them, basically, that Republicans, and anybody can research this, and it was hush hush. Republicans could not question or control polling stations because they ID'd somebody. God, I forgot where I was, but they ID'd one person, and it caused such a hell that he gave them that reparations. Every president since, after, even Clinton twice, extended it, except Trump. This is the first time that the department, well, any department, any government department has ever investigated election fraud since 1990.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know that. It's insane.
Right. Well, that's why you're here, Neil.
Well, like you said, Maricopa County, right? One and this goes with what you guys are talking about with Hillary and Obama. 5 million ballots that were proven to be fraudulent in California. Maricopa County, John McCain, after he died, they were going to give the seat to his wife. That seat was held for 30 years. 2 Republicans, always a Republican governor, 30 years straight. All of a sudden, they find 500,000 extra ballots, and Kristen Sinema wins. Now, who in their right mind, any of you, if there's anyone that did this, please acknowledge it in the chat. Have you ever voted for a Republican governor and a Democratic senator?
A Republican governor and a Democratic what?
A Democratic Senate.
Oh, no.
Or vice versa. It happened in Maricopa County for the first time in over 30 years.
They're Broward.
Even though Hillary got the so-called popular vote, millions upon millions of those votes are fraudulent in California. Thank God for the Electoral College. Nobody knows how it works, because in California and Texas, basically, would have run America.
Right. Well, props to the one Electoral College in Michigan for standing strong, because this is the first time we were red state in a long time. Long time.
If Hillary Clinton was president right now, our entire DOD would be dismantled. Our entire armed forces would have been given to the UN. Our entire budget would have been given to the UN.
Well, it's 1,000 points of light. The New World Order was on the precipice.
That was some weird shit. 1,000 points of light. That was weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to interrupt, and here's why. I got 1 minute left, and it's so hard to hear, Neil, that we can hear you, but it's very hard, and we're going to have to do this again. But I go on every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Anyone's welcome to come on anytime. It's just sometimes I don't have anyone jumping at, trying to do it. What I'm going to do is invite you back Tuesday or Thursday, or Tuesday and Thursday, don't care. And the more the better. It's fun for me. It'd be nice to have like a round table. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to
have a Neo night.
Yeah, that'd be fine. And I don't care if there's more than one person there, if it's 4 of us, 5 of us, or just Neil wants to come on. What I need to do ahead of time is sound checking and topic stuff.
I'd like to invite you into a show called Informative Info. It's one of my best friends. I'm not producer, whatever. We sponsor it, and he's one of my best friends. He's in subs right now, and I'd like to invite you on there for a roundtable as well. So I'll send you the information.
Yep, I would do it. So what I'm going to do is, like I always do, I'm going to close this in a prayer, and then we're all just going to kind of hang up because I'm going to go deal with my kiddos and everything. But of course, the Discord's open for chatting later if anybody wants to. But I had to we had a few trolls in here who got mad that who just got mad about dumb stuff. So sorry, I'm not here to please anybody. I'm here to try to bring souls to Jesus. And if that doesn't please you and you want to swear on here and tell me that you don't like me because I need to hear what you have to say, I don't have to hear what you have to say. I don't have to listen to anybody I don't want to listen to. And I can protect myself. It's called boundaries. Read the book. All right, so I'm going to pray. Okay. I'm going to relax and I'm going to pray. And I thank you guys. Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. And we'll do this again. So, God, I am so grateful that this community is growing into what it is. God bless this community. Put your hand on this community. Jesus, give us growing wisdom and discernment and truth only from you every single day. Thank you, God. And I'm so glad that new people want to get involved, that they're interested, and that you've given me the wisdom to hold on to information I never could have understood 2 years ago. You've changed me, and I'm grateful. And so we hope that there's somebody out there that wants to come to you, Lord, and know you better. And whoever I blocked wasn't trying to do that. And I pray that they will someday, though, but it's not going to be here. I pray, though, that there may be somebody out there not sure. They got questions. Ask questions, guys. You're not a fool to ask questions. You're wise to ask questions. It's in the scripture. You're a fool to rebuke advice. Let us be wise. Let us be iron sharpening iron on a daily basis. Thank you, Jesus. We love you, and we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Peace out, John. I appreciate you. Thank you, Neil. God bless.
Hey, thanks. Hey, Aaron, if you got time,